Good. Keep going. Almost done. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay. Keep reading. Which is exactly what you just said, right? Mhm. Yeah. Alright, and this is the last paragraph, and then we're into the next page. 2 paragraphs, sorry. Gets you fired up. Mhm. Yeah. I think I've heard that story before. Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you are connecting uh, with um, with this, right? So here are some very famous mediators that you may know: J.R.R. Tolkien, William Shakespeare, Bjork, Alicia Keys, uh, Tom Hiddleston, Julia Roberts, William Wordsworth, Johnny Depp, Frodo Baggins from The Lord of the Rings. Yeah, that's funny. Emily Poulain, I don't even know who that is. Maybe I do. Arwen from The Lord of the Rings, Fox Mulder from X-Files, Anne from Anne of Green Gables, Downtown Abbey. This all these, yeah, Sybil Branson, Lance Sweets. Yeah. Anyway, these are just, this is just to help you connect with, the whole idea here. Here's the strengths and weaknesses. This is the second page. You are, and I'm just gonna name the highlights. You are empathetic, generous, open-minded, creative, passionate, and idealistic. Now, do you agree with those? Great. For every strength, there's also weaknesses to go along with it. Here are the weaknesses. When we're idealistic, we're unrealistic. Okay? Because on one side of the spectrum, when you're being idealistic, you're actually not being realistic because you're, well, you believe you can change your world. We read that in the last page. Yeah, you believe your world can change, and other people are like Debbie Downers, and they're like, "No, it can't." And you're like, "Oh, come on, yes, we can. If we just work together, we can get it done." And they're like, "No, no, no. You got to get your here's what it is, right? You've got rose-colored glasses on." Exactly. So you're unrealistic, you can self-isolate, which is this is what I think happened with you and your stepchildren. You isolated yourself from them. You wanna connect, but you don't know how sometimes. You can be unfocused because you're so in your head, right? And you can read this stuff later, but anyway, I wanted you to see what this is all about. You're emotionally vulnerable. I wanna say of all the people of the 16 personalities, the INFP is probably the most sensitive of all 16 personalities. You are, seriously. Like, I find that INFPs, and it's not a bad thing, it's, the way God wired you, okay? But you can also take it too far, and that's what this is saying, okay? The emotional attunement of these personalities is among their greatest strength, but unless they establish boundaries, they can be at risk of absorbing other people's negative moods or attitudes. So you take on too much, and then you get really down about it. Okay. So this can be detrimental to their personal peace and productivity, as INFPs are the most likely personality type to say negative emotions get in the way of their ability to think clearly. You are a people pleaser. You're too eager to please people, and you're very self-critical of yourself. Most INFPs that I've met in counseling will always say the same thing. I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm stupid. That was a stupid thing to do. They talk critically of themselves. They don't think they're smart. They don't think they can do anything. They don't think all the kinds of stuff. Self-criticism, criticism, criticism, criticism. Does this make sense? Are you in agreement with what we've read so far? Excellent. All right. So why, now that you've read it, why do you think I had you do this? I- Is this is this of value to you, Matthew, to read this about yourself? So what I want to teach you in our next session, if you're willing, is I want to teach you about accepting who you are in Christ, because it was Christ who made you this. He made you the INFP so that you could be all those characteristics, all those character traits, so that you could fulfill your destiny. Sometimes, Matthew, I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't think I've said this in a long time. Sometimes, I think it's because of what you brought up to me earlier last session, that you never thought of it, of being with a married woman with children already. That was never your plan. So sometimes our destiny has to do with, I want to be careful how I say this. God allows us the beauty of life and of the beauty of a family, the beauty of children, the beauty of all of that. And it's all very extremely meaningful and important, but it may or may not have everything to do with your destiny on earth. Does that make sense to you? Yeah, I want to be careful because I don't want you to get the wrong impression here. Um, um, okay. Why would that be contradictory, Matthew? Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I mean, what happened what happened from there? Did she fall in love with you while she was with another man? Okay, and did you go along with it? Okay. Okay, well, that's a whole different thing though altogether, and, we're not gonna get into morality and spirituality and all that type of thing. I guess what I'm saying, let me change it up a little bit here. There's the permissible will of God, and then there's the sovereign will of God. Do you know the difference between his permissible will and his sovereign will? Yeah, the sovereign will of God is his plan for you, and then the other one is like, "Oh, wait, well, if you wanna do that along the way of getting your of my job getting that my job for you done, and you wanna do this other thing, I'll permit that. That's permissible to me." So, when I pray, I always pray, "Well, Father, is this something that you want me to get in touch with?" So, I was at the church a couple weeks ago, and, they were talking about, people getting involved in the church, and I'm like, "Father, is this something that you want me to do?" And he instantly answered me, and he spoke to me, and he said, "If you'd like to." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I've been through this before, and just because I would want to do something doesn't mean that that's God's perfect will for me. I know it's his permissible will. And I don't want to waste time doing, helping, and spending time on something that I don't want to do, that isn't the perfect will of God. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm too old for that, Matthew. I want to be doing God's perfect sovereign will for my life. I want to be fulfilling my destiny that He set out for me, as opposed to what I'm allowed to do. This is what I'm talking about in regards to what I said 5 minutes ago, which is, and we kind of got off on this topic, is um, here's another way of putting it. My name was given to me by God. Not everybody has that, and it doesn't mean I'm special. It just means that in my case, my name is associated with my destiny. That's all it meant. So it doesn't mean I'm special because of that. It just means that my mother was given my name by God. God spoke to me and said, I gave your name to your mother, and she named you Dana. And I wanted this to happen so that you would fulfill your destiny. That doesn't happen for everybody. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the sovereign. Like, I don't know if you're following what I'm trying to say here, because I'm completely lost my train of thought as to why I'm even telling you all this. We started talking about the Myers Briggs and how your being an INFP is a part of your destiny. It God created you to be the INFP so that you could connect with people and be everything that all of those things said about you. All those character traits are very important for you to learn who you are and how to communicate and express who you are so that you can get your destiny done. Some things are permissible and some things are the sovereign will of God. So the sovereign, yeah, anyway, do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. It is a good thing for you to be in your wife's life, uh, and to your stepchildren. This is a good thing. And you can turn this around, and you can absolutely bless them and help them. Okay. We're pretty well out of time today, but I wanted to touch base with you and see. I don't even know if you got much out of that last 5 minutes or so, but what did you think about the Myers Briggs now that we read through it? What do you think of it? And what did it do for you in general when you read that? It's like, holy cow! Like, how could something be so? I don't even know. How did that land with you? The whole thing. Yeah, pretty neat, right? So, can you see the power in knowing this about yourself? I would like you to simply reflect on that, reflect on, and I want to help you for 10 minutes next session, and then move this into how can you express yourself better to your stepchildren, to how can you be that better father, how can you be that better husband, how can you be that better man, how can you be that by accepting the fact that you are these things, but being able to now put it into language for you to touch and connect with other people, because that's you. And to connect with these other people because you're that sensitive, and it's good to be sensitive. I wish more people were, 'cause we have a whole world full of people who are insensitive, aren't they? Yeah, and so to be this man and to be this person, I want you to know who you are so that you can express this to your stepchildren, that and help them do the same. Be I think they're struggling because they haven't had what you've told me is you weren't there for them and their own father wasn't there for them. Help them navigate, maybe even doing the Myers-Briggs themselves to get to know who they are so that they can stop talking down to themselves and being critical of themselves and saying, "Woe is me and poor me," and can instead say, "Wow, look at all the wonderful character traits I have." I just put it out there for you. Um, next next session, I'd like to we'll go deeper. We'll talk about how I can help you overcome that critical voice in your head when you put yourself down and help you to even give you even more skills to communicate. So we talked about atoning. We're going to practice. I want you to practice the atoning. Okay? And that is I want you to actually make some agenda, something on the calendar, a schedule to meet with the 2 kids one way or the other, once a month, twice a month. You get to choose where you're doing something with them to spend time with them. And it doesn't even if you're away from town away from home a lot, maybe you can do it over the internet like you're doing with me. I don't know. What might that look like? I don't know. You get to choose that kind of thing. I don't know, but, that's part of the atoning, right? Now that I know who you are, I can better equip you as an INFP to understand how to sit with them and communicate with them and attune. Because that was the second thing I taught you last week is that once we start to atone, we can start to attune to these children. So now that you know a little bit more about your how the wording, the language to use for who you are, you can explain a little bit about yourself to them and you can get to know them better too. This is attuning. Attuning to their needs, attuning to their wants, their not so much their wants, their needs as a person. And the Myers-Briggs really helps to flesh that out in a language for them, to show them who they are so that you can help meet their needs. And there's attuning. Now you're attuning to them. What are their needs and how can I meet that need as a stepfather? Do you see how powerful this can be if you use it as a tool? What do you think of that, Matthew? Very good. Matthew, when would you like to see me again? Okay, give me a second here. Go to my schedule, click on you, and you're gonna send some money right after this? I text I texted it to your phone. Okay, so I've got this, and we're gonna copy that, and then we're gonna go to, you said 2 weeks? Alright, so mhm. You said 8 o'clock? Perfect. I've got you down for 8 o'clock, Thursday, March 20th. That's 2 weeks from today at 8 o'clock. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, you have a wonderful night.